but I do want to talk about the other major headline from the podium this weekend. Carlos Sainz, Williams.
Now that's something I can get excited about.
A podium, their first podium finish since 2021 when George Russell grabbed a P2 in Belgium. Sainz started in P2, brought it home in P3, ironically behind George Russell. Completing the overcut with a perfectly executed pit is really what it took for Mercedes to make that even happen. My question to Kevin Walker, who is the resident Williams believer. He was 10 toes down at the beginning of this year. I thought he was a bit crazy.
Bit crazy. You told me that I was straight up lying.
But this man's been 10 toes down all season. There's basically a second team is Williams. How big is this for Williams, Kevin?
It's bigger than life itself, Tristan, for being honest. Not much can compare to this kind of a thing. I mean, all the Super Bowls combined for the New England Patriots don't even come close to this podium for Williams, if we're being honest with ourselves. And I'll throw all 5 of the Cowboys championships that I wasn't alive for in there as well. Just nothing comes close to this win for Carlos Sainz. And I know it's not technically a win, but it's a win. You know what I mean? It's a win. No, it's huge, dude. It's big. But we can't get too far into this because at the end of the day, a lot had to go wrong and a lot had to kind of be crazy for this to happen. It's not like outside of Alex Albon, who's had a really, really, really good season, Carlos Sainz has been the one struggling the most, getting comfortable in that Williams car. This was big for Williams in general, but this was big for Carlos and his future with Williams. Alex Albon's been good all year. He's been stellar. Outside of a couple of times, he's looked really, really good. And I'm pretty sure he's probably brought in majority of the points for Williams. I don't know that for a fact.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, he's definitely still leading in that regard. 70 points to Carlos Sainz's 31. So it's still very much so Alex Albon's year. So
there you go. And so this for Carlos is big because it kind of gives, not necessarily gives him motivation, but it kind of makes him want to keep going along this track with Williams. You know, he's been pretty frustrated and he's been verbal at times about being in Williams this year. And I know some fans were kind of like, oh, it was like Carlos unhappy at Williams. And I think that's just how people react when they're in a new environment and things aren't necessarily going their way. But, you know, a momentum shifter like this for the weekend for Williams, for Carlos Sainz specifically, is huge. And it's going to continue on. One guy that I haven't named is James Vowles. I mean, a weekend like this is the kind of thing that Williams, hell, a year ago, 2 years ago, this was unfathomable. This was not even in the realm of possibilities to happen. No matter if all these crazy things happened or not, it was not even, Williams could not land a podium. There's just no way, no chance, no how. So it's huge. It's big. It's going to continue on with the momentum of Williams. And as they shift and as they change and turn into what I would like to consider a top 4, top 3 contender, yeah, I mean, it's good momentum for sure.
I mean, as far as Carlos Sainz specifically, I mean, it's a massive vindication. Going along with what you said, I mean, it's massively vindicating for him because he was the odd man out after Ferrari's pick of Lewis Hamilton last year, right?
Yep.
It just is what it is when it came to that decision making, and Sainz had to make his decision. Everybody in the paddock was trying to figure out where the hell is Carlos Sainz going to sign. There was an entire episode dedicated to it in Drive to Survive this year, as it should have, between that and Alpine, right? Between going to Alpine or between going to maybe even the Stake Project or between going to Williams, that was a huge topic of conversation. But he put his faith in James Vowles. He put his faith in Williams. He put his faith alongside Alex Albon, his teammate, having good chemistry there. And what they're building at Williams, you mentioned James Vowles. That's massively vindicating for him. His first podium as the team principal since the guy joined in 2023. It's huge. It's huge. Look, Sainz has struggled a lot at points this year too. You've also brought this up. He's had ups and downs and DNFs and, just bad results, especially in comparison to what Albon's doing, which is special this year, with all due respect. It really
one of the best drivers
special.
this year, Albon has. He's been one of the best drivers
P8
of the year.
in the constructors. He was P7 for a good chunk of the season before, the strong result for Mercedes this weekend. But yeah, for him specifically, though, Sainz, a banger lap in Q3, mixed conditions at that time too, to put it in P2 in a Williams, unheard of 2 years ago, and kept that podium place, held off a Mercedes towards the end of the race too. We were all, of course, watching Lando and seeing what he was going to do against Yuki and Liam towards the end stages of the race. But I think I disagreed with what F1's coverage was, because to me it was, dude, Kimmy's getting closer and closer and closer and closer. And it came down to him getting almost in DRS, but Carlos just put his pedal to the metal. He went all in and held the Mercedes out of DRS range and brought it home in P3. Like, he made the most of the opportunity in Azerbaijan. For him, I'd say this gives him a ton of confidence when it comes to the move that he made to Williams, his ambitions for 2026 as well, and even beyond. It's going to give him a ton of confidence. Super happy for Carlos. And speaking about Williams even more specifically, this is a drive that basically locked them up for P5 in the constructors, in my opinion.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I wanted to go ahead and look it up. So in sixth place is VCarb with 72 points.
They're 29 points behind. Yeah.
And fourth place is Red Bull with 272, and then right there in the middle, pretty much solidified their spot. Number 5, Williams with 101 points. They have crossed the 100-point mark.
Yeah, 100%. And like the next two closest constructors, it would take something incredible for VCarb to make up 29 points over the next 7 races. Aston Martin are a little bit behind them at 39 points over the next 7 races, right?
They're Williams, the third. I'm looking at it right now, dude. Williams had 17 points last year altogether.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to say this specific race weekend, they basically got all that. Like, it's crazy what they've been able to do.
Wild.
And look, they become the third non-top 4 team as well this year to make the podium. This has been a really special year outside of the front.
A lot of parity. A lot of parity.
Well, like, you could argue that, the championship battle hasn't been as interesting as we'd hoped. And I think that's something that a lot of Formula One fans share. I think even you and I, because we were hoping that it'd be a lot closer between Lando and Oscar. But what we're seeing on the podium this year is super special. We got to see Isaac Hadjar grabbing the podium in the Netherlands, right? We got to see Nico Hülkenberg drive the wheels off a stake F1 car in Great Britain. We got to see Carlos Sainz here in Baku grab a P3. We got to see a rookie Kimi Antonelli grab a P3 in Canada. We've seen a lot of really interesting podiums this season. And again, just touching on Val's first podium since becoming team principal, I think everybody loved that. I can't think of a single person who on Hater Watch was even like, not happy for the guy, right?
No, even Mercedes, where Val's got his start, where he came from. I saw they put a little post out and like, called him a bastard, but congratulated him for the win. And again, it's not a win, but you have to think about it in the context of things. It's a massive
for
win.
A midfield team down. This is the equivalent of your win. This is the highlight of their season, with all due respect. Sure. And vindication for everybody who's a part of this Williams project, because this is a lot of enthusiasm they're going to be able to carry into 2026 and these new regulations that they themselves have said that's what they've been focusing on. Every year since 2023 has really just been we'll wait and see what happens, but our optimism, we're putting it all into 2026. If you're doing these kinds of things and you have this kind of confidence, you have this kind of momentum, look, and it's recency bias included, of course, in 6 or 5 more race weekends, this is maybe not going to be the most prevalent headline of the last 10 races. But for everybody talking about this project, who's involved in this project, like, they've been dead set on 2026 and beyond. It seems like they're going to have the right power unit with Mercedes, and it seems like they've got the right drivers between Alex Albon and Carlos Sainz. They've got the right team principle. They've got the development.
Really good chemistry.
They've got great chemistry up and down the organization. They've also got the financial infrastructure. They brought in so much money. everything that's going on in Williams right now is just pure optimism. I'm excited to see what they do in 2026 and beyond. I'm really curious to see if they're going to be, how close to the front they really will be this time next year. I really am curious about that. But speaking of the TLPs, though, what do you guys think of this Carlos Sainz podium? What do you guys think of what's going on at Williams? Please let us know down in the comments. We're incredibly excited. Let us know if you're bullish, you're bearish on this. What do they look like in 2026? Just give us anything that you guys think, because honestly, we'd love to engage, hear what the rest of the Formula One community is thinking about what the hell is going on over there at Williams. I just know that for a fact, pretty much everybody's excited about it. I can't think of anybody who's been like, oh, boo hoo, who cares? No, this is something special. This is something
maybe
special.
Alpine.
Yeah. Maybe Alpine. Yeah.